Hey, it's Janelle Waz, and welcome to an episode of Waz Makes Tea.
Tea Earl Grey hot. Tea Earl Grey hot.
Tea. Earl Grey, perhaps.
That's right, we're brewing the tea of choice for French Starfleet captains with British accents, drinking the most British tea possible. But since we're behind on the invention of replicators, and since replicators are always breaking down anyways,
I think your replicator's having a nervous collapse.
we have to brew this lovely black tea the old-fashioned way. And as your unofficial tea expert, I'm here to show you how to brew a proper cup of tea Earl Grey hot, maybe providing some tips and tricks for tea brewing along the way.
I'd like to get my hands on that fellow Earl Grey and tell him a thing or two about tea leaves.
You take that back, Garrick! You take that back! Let's brew some tea, shall we?
Earl Grey, please.
So today I will be preparing Earl Grey with some loose tea. But Waz, I have this! I don't need your fancy tea instructions. Well, guess again. Yes, tea bags are convenient, and I've been known to brew bagged tea while at a friend's house. But I'm going to show you exactly what you're getting when you're brewing with bagged tea. And full disclosure, I'm showing you Bigelow's English Tea Time tea because I couldn't find any of my old Earl Grey around the house. But most tea bags will look like this. Open up a tea bag packet and you'll see a small fiber bag filled with tea and an attached string and paper tab. But let's look at the tea inside, shall we? You'll notice the tea is very crumbly. There are no whole leaves. Usually this is a sign of a lower quality, cheap tea. What you're looking for are big leaves. I mean, look at these leaves. Those are some fine leaves there. Generally when picking out a tea, you'll want to go for whole leaves because they have the best flavor and quality. Now, you can find higher quality tea leaves in bags at specialty tea shops, but generally, this isn't the kind of tea you'll find in most grocery stores. And of course, if the bagged tea you're getting at the grocery store floats your boat, then by all means, enjoy. But if you never found a tea you liked, you might want to try some of the higher quality stuff. So, like I was saying, I will be brewing some loose tea, the Earl Grey variety. For those of you who don't know, Earl Grey is a black tea that's been flavored with oil of bergamot. And what is bergamot, you might ask? This. It's a small citrus fruit. Today I have here Adagio Tea's Earl Grey Bravo. It has the addition of orange rind and cornflowers, not uncommon ingredients for Earl Grey. However, not every Earl Grey blend will have them, so if you buy a blend and it doesn't have orange rind or cornflowers, don't sweat it. Some of them do, but some of them don't. This blend of Earl Grey also uses Ceylon tea, but some fancier blends will use Keemun tea from China. Both these teas are mild, so if you're new to tea, this is a pretty good place to start. Now, because Earl Grey is a black tea blend, it does contain caffeine, so I would avoid drinking it before bed. There are variations that have green tea rather than black tea, but I'm brewing the original black tea version today. Let's put the kettle on, shall we? Now, the kettle I'm using will actually brew the tea for you, which is why it comes with an infuser. But I'm not doing that in this video. We're learning how to brew tea the traditional way. That's why you learn math by paper and pencil before you bring out the calculator.
First learn stand, then learn fly. Nature ruled on you, son, not the mine.
Pardon the watermarks on my kettle, but if you get a tea brewing kettle, you'll notice that there are different settings for the different types of tea. These are very important. You don't want to use boiling water for every kind of tea. Green, white, and some oolong teas require lower temperatures, or else you'll burn the tea and produce a bitter cup. Always follow the temperature directions when brewing different kinds of tea. But we're brewing a black tea today, so boiling water is fine. Pour some water into the kettle, keeping an eye on the min and max levels of the kettle. Use filtered water to produce the best tasting tea, uncontaminated by all the little things in tap water. I set my kettle to heat only and black and let the kettle heat the water. I do like using the glass kettle for these kinds of videos because you can see the water heat up and boil.
Allow me to heat up your tea.
Ah, there we go. Now that the water's heated up, let's talk about what else you'll need. You will need a teapot, specifically a teapot with an infuser if you can get one. Now, I like to brew tea in glass teapots because I like watching tea brew, seeing all the color and flavor get absorbed by the water. It's a fun time for me. I also like looking at the color of the tea, but you don't need to use a glass teapot. Ceramic is fine. I highly recommend an infuser when brewing with a teapot, whether one that comes with the teapot or a separate one. It makes removing the tea leaves easier when the brewing is done. There are also other infuserless methods of brewing tea. Should I make a video on those methods? Please let me know in the comments section. In addition to a teapot, you will also need the Earl Grey leaves. The rule of thumb is 1 teaspoon of tea leaves per cup, but little confession time here. I probably use about 1 1/4 teaspoon when I brew tea in my teapot. Should I use more? Probably. I can get about 2.5 cups out of this teapot, but I'm not made of money. 1 1/4 does alright by me. But enough talk, there's tea to be made. Take the tea leaves and pour them into the infuser of the teapot. Then add the hot water. Then let the tea sit and brew. Adagio Teas recommends brewing Earl Grey Bravo for about 3 minutes. However, I've seen other Earl Grey instructions say to brew for 3 to 5 minutes. That's pretty standard for any black tea. You want the tea to brew long enough for the water to extract the optimal amount of flavor, but you don't want to overbrew it and extract the bitter flavors. Some teas are more forgiving on this, others will punish you severely. Luckily, Earl Grey is pretty forgiving. If you're new to Earl Grey or any new tea, I recommend brewing for a shorter amount of time and seeing if it's strong enough. You can always brew it a little longer if you need to. As you gain more experience brewing tea, you'll develop your own tastes and preferences. Once brewing is done, simply remove the infuser with the tea leaves. I like to knock some of the water off by tapping it on the teapot. Do not, I repeat, do not press or squeeze the leaves. All you'll accomplish is putting the tannins, i.e. the bitterness, into the tea, and you don't want that. Also, shout out to my hand for handling the very hot infuser. And there you go, just like Replicator used to make.
I think your replicator is having a nervous collapse.
Now let's pour a cup. Yeah, that's a fine tea there. And that is how you brew tea.
Excellent tea.
Thanks for tuning in to an episode of Woz Makes Tea. If you want to see more tea-related content, please let me know. Give this video a like and leave a comment about what you'd like to see in future tea videos. And since you're already here, why not subscribe to my channel? Tell your friends! Until next time...
You said this is Earl Grey. I'd swear that it was Darjeeling.